What's up, everybody? Music the Best, Andrew here, and I'm bringing you PMC Week 9 Power Rankings. And unfortunately, Hayden, like I mentioned last week, will not be joining us for the rest of the season. But to, I guess, compensate for that, we got our guest star here. Introduce yourself.
What's up, PMC fans here? My name is Darth Vader, and I'll be joining Music the Best for this week's Power Rankings. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, glad to have you. So, are you in any leagues?
Yeah, man. I'm in a couple leagues. A little bit big, a little bit small. Just all over the place.
What leagues are you in? Like the names.
I'm in the PMC. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I guess.
Alright. So, yeah, I guess you should just get straight to it. At number 16, we have the Colorado Mammoth Swines, who were previously at number 14. What do you think about the placement right here, North?
Yeah, so I don't exactly remember, but I believe week 8 he did, or like the previous week, I believe the Colorado Mammoth Swine did lose to Squared, which is why he was a little low, or actually he's pretty low right now. And the reason he has decreased is because I believe he lost to Fanbase, who was last week, and he didn't play standards, and he doesn't have the greatest record right now.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe, why.
Yeah, and also last week, he was a tiny bit higher because at the time of the recording, it was a did not play win for him. So I decided not to remove him at all. So yeah, what do you say about that match against the New York Cosmogs?
I just felt that Fanbase prepped very well, brought the correct Pokemon.
I agree.
Against Colorado Mammoth Swine, and like the roster that he brought, there was not much that he could do to stop Magearna, and in this format, Magearna is a very huge threat. I believe everyone knows that.
Yeah,
and if you don't prep enough for Magearna,
if you don't prep enough for Magearna?
If you don't prep enough for Magearna, you pretty much lose.
Yeah. I agree. Now, as someone who has used Magearna, I do know it's a good threat.
Yeah, just Magearna has the... Yeah. Any team with the correct prep, EVs, and moveset, so...
Yeah. Yeah, and it helped that he scouted a lot at the very beginning, especially with his against the Ambipom, which he was able to whittle it down really easily, and Ambipom and his other threats on his team couldn't really do anything to Phantom Base, as he was just able to whittle down his team so that Magearna could win.
And I believe he also had the Nihilego set was very good too. I believe it was a Sharp Lore with Berry.
Yeah.
Fire fighting.
Yeah.
Am I wrong there, or?
I think you're right. I don't really remember. This was the match that I watched last. Not last, but the furthest away, I mean. So I guess we'll go to number 15 with the Seattle Smeargles, Sketchy Smeargle, against the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. As you know, wrong week. It's actually the Seattle Smeargles against the Sydney Crocodiles, and I'm not sure how I feel about this match. I feel that both players did not play all too well, and even though Sharpino won 5-0, I felt he had a lot of questionable plays.
And right now, though, it's just the reason Seattle's or Sketchy Smeargles are so low that he brings the same 6 Pokemon every single week. I believe that's Rotom Heat, Hippopotas, Kyurem Black, Victini, Excadrome, Gliscor. It's just the same 6 mons every single week.
And none of them break 100 speed. So that means he relies on Excadrill to do damage, but the thing is, every week, he's been playing this Hippopotas very questionably, letting it get die very early and such.
Yeah. And bring the same 6 Pokemon, like, I'd at least say change up the movesets if you feel those are the 6 best Pokemon.
He has changed the movesets a little bit, but not too much.
Oh, yes? Never mind.
Yeah. So next up, I guess we could talk more about Sharpeeno's end when it gets back to Sharpeeno. So for now, we'll go to number 14, the New York Cosmox, who beat our number 16, Colorado Mantines, raising up from 16 to 14. What do you feel about that?
I believe those two have swapped places now, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so as we've explained before, Phantom Base played extremely well. Coached the New York Cosmox to a I think it was a 3-0 victory. No, it was 4-0 victory against the Colorado Mamoswine, and his prep was amazing. He did a lot of scouting. His Magearna and Nihilego, the way he used those 2 Pokemon were very, very.
Yeah.
There's not much to say. He played very well, and it's good to see Phantom Base well in its season, and maybe he can. Hopefully, I don't know if he can right now, but if he can reach playoffs in season 4.
I don't believe that he has any chance to make it because I believe that's only his 2nd win, unfortunately. Let me charge my laptop real quick. Okay, so yeah, he played very well, and Magearna is a mon that if you don't play it well, it's not gonna do good. So the fact that he did well shows that why his Magearna.
Yeah,
That's what? Sorry, you kind of cut out there.
Oh, I thought. I'll continue.
I don't really have much else to say, so I guess we move on to our number 13, the Orlando City Superiors, who lost to previously number, I believe, 15 or 14, maybe 13. Do you remember what rank Arcanine was?
Number 15.
Number 15, so yeah. So the Orlando City Superiors lost to our number 15, used to be number 15, San Antonio Victory Bells. And were you gonna say something? I'll go. So Arcanine, he played phenomenally here. He kept his win cons in mind, as you could tell very clearly from his commentary. He kept his Doublade in the back. He sacked mons and kept the mons that he only needed alive. The only mons necessary needed alive. So yeah, he played safe, but he also made a couple big moves here and there, and he just played extremely well by just keeping late game in mind the entire time. What do you think?
I do agree with that, and like you said, you don't always need to stunt and make as many doubles as possible to win. Sometimes playing safe is the best way to go to win the match.
I agree, and especially how he kept his Doublade to basically the very end, where it got a whole bunch of Shadow Sneak kills. I thought that was a really masterful, the way he was able to weaken his team so that he was able to do that, and even when his Doublade went down with, I believe, 3 or 4 kills, he was able to clean 3 kills. He was able to clean up with a mon at the end. I don't remember what mon actually.
I don't remember either, but it was just a great match for Arky, and D-Pad could have played a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Orlando City Superiors.
Yeah, like one thing is, I don't get the play of sacking Hitmon Hitmonchan to Reuniclus, he switched out Arcanine to Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan died, and then he switched back Arcanine. I don't agree with that series of switches and plays at all, because when he came back in with Arcanine, Trick Room was still up. So even if it was a sack, he came back in to click the E-Speed, which didn't really do anything.
Which I think he just could have clicked E-Speed the first time around instead of stacking off Hitmonchan.
Yeah. Or he could have gone to another Mon that would have pressured Reuniclus. I don't remember what Mons he had exactly then, but if he had done that, then that would have been a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Even though Hitmonchan did get walled by Doublade, basically, I still don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think maybe in the back of my mind, because you know, this is on Wi-Fi, so you don't have a lot of time to think. So maybe he probably panicked. I think he panicked.
Yeah. Although good on Doublade for bringing that Cash Quillfish set with the Toxic Spikes, that was really nice. That really helped him with the win for sure.
And that helped whittle down D-Pet's team.
And even though it was somewhat later in the game, he still used it to advantage very well. And in fact, with that win, I believe that's his third win in a row. He's back into playoff races, and if he wins his Week 10 match against the Mastodon Gastrodons, who was in the top 3 and who may still be in the top 3 right now. So yeah, I think we've talked enough to that match, so let's switch pages and go to our number 12, the Red Spark Vicovolts. Dolphin Squared. What do you feel about that match?
Yo, can we pause for a second?
Pause?
Yeah.
Like pause the recording, or?
Yeah.
I don't think I can pause on this. So I'll just talk for now and tell me when to get back in. So,
Thank you.
Dolphin Squared played against the Grimsby Town Grimers, who was our number 2, I believe, from last week. And so, the Red Spark Vicovolts, they just couldn't handle the safe plays that the Grimsby Town Grimers were making, and they just played extremely well. The Grimsby Town Grimers, I mean, and yeah, whenever Blue Rogue, the Grimsby Town Grimers, were put in a bad position, he just sacked off a couple Mons, which he did. He sacked off 3 Mons actually, and was able to win. One questionable play that I don't agree with that Dolphin made was that he switched in his Garchomp I meant, against the Dragonite, and Dragonite just went for the Declaw and it just dropped the Garchomp, which could have put in a lot of work. I also don't agree with setting up the Speed Boot prematurely, because the Grimsby Town Grimers, they played safe, but they made plays for whenever it was necessary, going for the HP Ice on the switch out from Ninjask Baton Pass to Garchomp, breaking the Yache Berry. And in there, he switched to his Fire type, and I also don't agree with that, because against the Raichu, I don't think that Raichu would stay in, because the thing is, the Garchomp had +1 up, so there was no reason to switch the Fire type to take the HP Ice, because it was obviously not scarred because it went for the Thunderbolt the turn before. So yeah, Raichu would not come in, and he ended up being put in a very bad position with his switch to his Fire type. And just Blue Rogue, he played extremely well. Shoutouts to his default Dragonite there, which put in massive amounts of work, being able to keep rocks and the sticky webs off the entire time, not letting him get any momentum, and I just really commend him for that and such. What do you think, North? And we are back. Sorry, I had to stop the recording there to bring it back up, because some weather issues came by with some pretty big amounts of hail, and it's just hailing a lot. The weather is extremely crazy here right now at the Pacific Northwest. Now you know where I live. But yeah, there's just ice everywhere, and yeah. Nice to be back.
Yeah, and I believe we were at the Red Spark Pickleball versus the Grimsby Grinders match with the number 12 position.
Yes.
Okay. I think you said it, and Blue Rogue just played phenomenally. You know, just stacking the right mon when needed to, and played extremely well, and capitalized on Dolphins in the match as well.
Yeah, I agree. And also, he made a very nice prediction as the Politoed. He went for the Thunderbolt against the Politoed, even though he still had the Garchomp around. And I think that was a smart play because he outsped. What speed is Raichu again? Do you know?
10.
I'm pretty sure Raichu outspeeds Garchomp, so it was not really a threat if Garchomp did indeed switch in, because it was not Scarf, because
just shows you how skilled Blue Rogue is as a battler, and
yeah, which is just really nice. It was a really nice showcase of how good of a battler he is. So I guess we talked enough about that. So we're going to our number. Sorry for pausing the recording there again. It's actually 10 days after that recording because, well, you see, some things happened, like a fire happened, and now I am home. But not actually, because that would be very tragic. And I'm sorry for playing with your heartstrings right there. It didn't actually happen, don't worry. So I believe we ended at number 11 with the San Antonio Victory Bell. So we're talking about their record and how they've been doing well lately. What do you think of that?
I think, the first couple weeks when they got this team, it took a while to get used to the team, but now Arky's just bringing the crack prep and just making the right plays, and he's definitely doing very, very well, and he definitely deserves to be here.
I completely agree. And although he didn't beat the strongest of players, no offense to D-pad gamer there, he just showed his that he could play well in this match and in the last couple weeks and such. We talked a lot about this match, so I don't really feel the need of going too much into it, but I'll talk a little bit about it. I believe that having the Togekiss with Heal Bell was very nice on him, although I find it kind of questionable that he did not go into the Togekiss against the Druddigon, and his team just got unnecessarily paralyzed and weakened. And although he was able to get rid of the paralysis, I don't agree with his team getting weakened, because that could have affected some things in the end, even though it didn't. But I don't agree with it because he already revealed Stealth Rock, Glare, and he revealed Dragon Tails. And he kept on going for the, I believe, Shadow Sneak against the Druddigon, taking Rocky Helmet damage because he was, or he kept on switching, I don't remember which of the two it was, but he kept on doing that because he was afraid of the Earthquake. But the thing is, if he had the Earthquake, Togekiss could just come in very easily. So, and even if he did have to use it for Togekiss, Togekiss would be able to just eat it anyways because it's a Togekiss. So, if he really needed to, he could just boost it up or something. And yeah, that's all I've really got to say about that match. He had a slow start, but he picked it up at the end. You got anything else to add before we move on?
Not much. I don't know. Just on to number 10 spot.
Okay, so our number 10 spot is the Phoenix Incineroars, Jonah, and they lost to the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. I don't think the Phoenix Incineroars played bad. It's just that Verd played a lot better. And
yeah,
his team just overall, he did not have much for Ninetales, and even though he sort of expected a Scarf Ninetales, he still stayed in, but that was kind of because he didn't really have a switch in besides Kabutops, and he mentioned that it might have been a 2-code too. So yeah.
What
were you gonna say?
Yeah. So as you said, Jonah did not have a good little Ninetales switch in. And, knowing how good of a player Verd is, especially in his run in the NPL minors, he's able to capitalize on the small weaknesses of certain opponents' teams and use it to his advantage. And
yeah, I completely agree.
That's pretty much what gave Verd the victory this week.
Yeah, and shoutouts to Specs Whimsicott, though. I haven't really seen a Specs Whimsicott since NPL Season 3 Majors, before Minors thing with Michael, Leonard Bandits. That was kind of irrelevant, but that's just what I thought of, because not many people bring Specs Whimsicotts, and it just put in a lot of work this game. It was able to put Rachi in the 2-code range, where he was able to pick it off with 2 Moonblast later, when it switched in from Gourgeist. And although he did have a bit of doubts in his plays, like when Bird brought in Gourgeist a few times, he didn't play too well against Gourgeist, but I wouldn't say he played bad at all.
Yeah.
You have anything else to say?
I also feel that he didn't really have much for Bird's Blaziken as well. I think the offensive pressure that Blaziken does is just overwhelmed, along with this, just overwhelmed.
Both of them just were able to overwhelm him, and he also didn't have too much to break the Gourgeist, except for a couple of Mons, and the thing is, those couple of Mons cannot stay in the entirety of a match. So, unless he makes like some godly plays, that Gourgeist is there to stick around and there to be a very annoying nuisance to his team. Although, it was very good on him to use Hail and Rain to his advantage, making it so Gourgeist could only heal 25% of sentences. I thought that was really. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Do you?
No.
Alright. So we moving on to number 9, the Oregon Ducklets, who lost to our, I believe, number 6 last week, the Montreal Montford. And both of them played a very solid match, I feel. And yeah, both of them were 4-4, and it was just a really enjoyable match to watch. What do you think about that?
I can try to remember. Alright, so I believe it was this week where Johnny and the folks used the trades that they used to trade with each other, and I believe Johnny acquired Zapdos and Scolipede this week.
Oh yeah.
Well, pretty solid Mons against his team.
Johnny did have
Go ahead.
Johnny did have a bit of misprep and a bit of overlooking, as well as a couple of misplays. As one misprep that he had was he he accidentally brought Adamant Scolipede, where in the end, if he was Jolly, did have a chance to win and ended up losing 3-0 because of that. And then also not having the boost on Zapdos hurt him too. And oh shoot, I didn't realize that something went on in the background for some reason. My bad on that. So yeah, those couple of misplays just cost him what could have been a win, but there's no really telling if he would have won or not. But both sides played really well and such. What do you say about that?
I don't know. I just feel that, as you said, just Johnny, if he didn't miss prep, then he might not have lost. But Blue played very, very well, and there's just not much more to say about that, I feel.
Yes. So with that loss was actually a very crucial win for the Montreal Monfernos and a very crucial loss for the Oregon Ducks, because with playoffs coming soon after week 10, being 4-5 for Oregon Ducks, if he loses another match, then he has the chance to miss playoffs if the San Antonio Victory Bells do indeed win. As such. And that also puts Blue Victini in a great position in playoffs, because if he ends at 5-5, he still has a relatively good chance to make playoffs.
I believe that is pretty much it for the number 10 spot.
Number 9 spot?
For number
8.
8, yeah, number 8, we have the Hamden High Dragons, coached by Cloud Envy.
We have taken over for the Commissioner J Specs. So I guess I'll start this one off. And Hera had a pretty off week on that, and Cloud, when he's on a good day, he can play very well, as shown like this. He was able to weaken Hera's team, who is in fact number 1, who was number 1 at least from last week, who was number 1, and he just capitalized on him having an off day and was able to, even though he was down, I believe, 3-2 or something like that, he was able to bring closer in and it just won very nicely, in fact. Or maybe it was 3-4. I don't remember. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, while, Harris is a very good player, well, for one thing, he was playing at 2 a.m. Cloud still played very, very well, and he could whittling his team down, eliminating the one Pokemon that can prevent the Cloyster Sweep, which was Toxapex. He eliminated that with the,
Earthquake from Inferno. And yeah, what's called, Hera mentioned that it was a misplay, or not that good of a play on his part, because he could have gone into another Mon that would have been able to take on the Inferno pretty well and such. And yeah, that play kind of cost him the game, because Cloyster was indeed able to just clean up his team afterwards and such.
There's just, I think if Hera, kept Toxapex alive, because I feel if, because Project Greninja was allowed this season, if Ninja and Greninja Toxapex, I don't think you should stay with your Toxapex. If it's the eligible one, then for sure, probably, I think you avoid the Tuco. If he's the eligible Pokemon, then I would switch out, try to burn the Z move.
Yeah, I agree. There wasn't really much to say on that, because I actually didn't watch Cloud's side of that, because, well, I kind of wanted to get this video done, so I only watched Parasite, and that video was kind of short, so there wasn't very much insight, and I don't have really much to go off of. So I don't really have much else to say, do you?
Just the fact that Cloud Envy played very well, and Hera could play better. He didn't play too good, but you know, he's the one mod that helped. That would prevent the sweep on Cloud's side.
Yes. So I guess we'll just go on to our number 7 now. The team you put down the Sharpino Crocodiles on the notes. So it's the Sydney Crocodiles at number 7, and if you see on the screen, it will say the the Sydney Crocodiles. And even though they won 5-0, I don't think that they should move up. And I don't know why I feel so strong about this, but I don't think that Sharpino played very well. I don't think he played very well at all. He tried to set up a Calm Mind. He tried to Calm Mind sweep against a team that had 3 resists still alive and not weakened at all. And he didn't notice the very obvious Scarf Rotom heat when it came in on the Cresselia and Dark Pulsed it. And even though Rotom Heat naturally outspeeds it, the fact that it has Dark Pulse and the fact that the way he was playing it and the reason why he didn't Volt Switch out, I just thought that was a very obvious overlook that Sharpino should have noticed, because it was able to get a trick off on the Snorlax, and he set up 2 times and was just shut down by it. He also did get some unfortunate hacks with Hera on not Sketch. Was it Sketch? Yeah, Sketch's reaction to that was just sacking off a couple of Mons, and he wouldn't have been able to sack up those. He wouldn't have Mons Snorlax is dead. So that just was a lot of the momentum of the game. And although Sharpino did make a couple of predictions, I don't think those predictions were really overly amazing or anything. They were just some. And while even though they were the safe plays, and I do commend him for going for the safe plays and not trying to like super style on them, I just don't think that he played the best, and I don't think he deserves to go up. Sorry if I am being rude to you. Do you have anything else to say? No?
Bro, I don't know, it's just, while, you know, some say that Sharpino hasn't, or did not play well this match, because he did play well, it's just, you know, some questionable plays.
He's been making a lot of questionable plays lately in general. He lost, I think, like 4-0 to the Phoenix and Sunwars last week, and he lost 6-0 to the Mastodon Gastron the week before that, so he just hasn't been playing too well lately, which is why I think this win doesn't really show him playing too well. Sorry for interrupting. Go on.
Just agree.
I don't really have much else to say. Sorry for bashing you on that. I do think you're a good player. I just don't think this was really showcasing how good you can be. I just think that was a very mediocre match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we're. What are you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I think we pretty much covered the 7th slot. Is there anything you just want to say before we move on?
Not really. I think we should just go on to our number 6, the Green Bay Pikachu, who lost it was a very intense match against the Mastodon Gastrodons, and in fact, he did get for the last 3 turns of the match, he got sort of timer stalled, and that was unfortunate for him, because if there was no timer, it could have been a different match, because he played very well. But the thing that I don't think that he did very well on is, you see, the Mastodon there, he was playing pretty passively most of the times, and he made a lot of safe switches, and they worked out for him. But the thing is, he was able to make those safe switches because of how the Green Bay Pikachu did not set up rocks until like 4 turns into the match was ended. And it is unfortunate to see a match get somewhat time stalled, but he did not really realize the time stall until like the last maybe like 3 turns, so it wasn't really time stall. It was just more of both teams playing extremely passively, not being able to break each other's walls, and just everything getting whittled. But although it was extremely unfortunate for the Green Bay Pikachu that they got 3 Pokemon, count them, 3 Pokemon frozen. And although the one with Salamence didn't matter the most because he's thawed out, that just was really unfortunate. And one with Go-Goats, I'm not sure how much that one mattered, but still. And the one on Road and Wash, that was really unfortunate. He lost a couple turns of momentum when he was on very momentum high. And when he was starting to get momentum, he just lost because of timer stall. So that's the reason why he's only moving down 1 slot, because he played extremely solidly, had to face impacts, and unfortunately the timer did in fact bite him back at the end. What do you think about that?
I think if the timer didn't put a factor there, plays well for each of the coaches, so it's hard to say who would have won without timer.
It would have been really close out to it, because I think it was like 3-3, and both of them were pretty even, because he still had Genesect and he was preserving it very well. But on his side, he also had Rhydon, which took on a lot of his team, and he also had stuff like Salamence, which kept on the Genesect. But one thing that I do fault the Green Bay Pikachu is, although they played extremely well, they stacked up Mons when they needed to. I thought that the team that they brought, they didn't have any real win cons besides good playing. And he did play well, but he couldn't do it fast enough. He didn't really have any cleaners or any sweepers to just win the game for him. He was just relying on good plays alone. And that's not a bad thing, but in a Wi-Fi battle, you gotta be able to get it within the time, or else you're going to be timed out.
It's one of the many things you gotta look out for when playing Wi-Fi, and I think maybe if you realized that a little bit sooner, he might have at least made it win, or timer win in his favor.
Yes. And if it wasn't timer and it was like stepped on showdown, then I'm not really sure who would have won, because both of them were playing pretty well. The Gastrodons, they played relatively safe. They didn't make too many aggressive plays, but the thing is, with the Green Bay Pikachu's team, their team was so passive that even when they made the aggressive plays that worked out, and the plays that were made to put pressure on him, his team was just so passive that even though he was able to get momentum, the Gastrodons were able to just bring it back through his own good play. So because both of them were really evenly matched, it was kind of a stalemate for a lot of the match.
Yeah, just it was a little bit shame to see that the results of that match, but
yeah,
I believe that is our number 6 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else to add?
I don't really. I could go on about this match for a really long time, but I won't bore you with that. And we still have to talk about the Mastodon Gastrodons later, with Mastodon there. So I guess we'll just go on to our number 5. And the last one on this third page, the Montreal Monfernos, who beat the Oregon Ducklets in a very close match. Well, sort of close match. It would have been a more close match is proper grammar. I mean, if he did bring the Jolly Scolipede, but in fact, because of his team building errors, the Blue Victini was able to capitalize on that, and he just played very well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as we mentioned before, against the Johnny GB and the Oregon Ducklets, which he played, you know, Blue played very well, and believe, I don't exactly remember. I believe he had a land or a sweep at the end. I might be wrong about this though.
It was like a mini sweep. He killed like 2 mons, I think.
Oh, so it's like a bit of clean.
Yeah, it was a clean.
Alright. So,
yeah.
Whittled Johnny's team bit by bit.
And also, there's this series of plays with he played extremely well against Tentacruel, predicting when it would go for the acid spray, predicting when it would go for the ice beam, and I also commend him for bringing the return Porygon, which weakened Tentacruel, where he would be pressured to make the plays. And as Johnny did mention in the match, that he does not really know when to use his win cons, and Blue Victini just capitalized the heck out of that, the hell out of that and stuff. It was really impressive.
Yeah, you know, and I think Return Porygon 2 was a great bring on Blue's part, because Johnny's team is more especially defensive. Kecleon, especially defensive. Defensive Tentacruel, especially defensive. Spiritomb, bit of both, but depends on how you invest in it. Yeah. Braviary is more especially defensive.
Yeah. One thing I would note is that the fact that his Manphy was able to take out the Spiritomb, because the Spiritomb did not get Dark Pulse 2 times in a row, even though that's kind of a risky thing, I do think that would have been a lot different match if that had happened, even if the Spiritomb would have died to the Crobat there, because then he would have gone Switch Initiative and such, or he could have saved the Spiritomb for the Porygon, which was troubling him a lot later on and such. And I do, I forgot what I was going to say, but I do believe that Blue Victini played very well, because he won most of the 50-50s with going for the Brave Bird on the Kecleon early on. We did so it was basically useless and such. What do you think about that?
You know, it's just, you know, it's a little bit sad to see Johnny lose, but you know, against a great opponent like Blue, who played phenomenally, it's best to stress and, you know, just hopes alive by winning that great game.
Yeah, and with the playoff races coming on, that was a really crucial win for Blue Victini there, because he basically almost guarantees his appearance in the Season 3 playoffs of the PMC, which is very nice for him. But unfortunately for Johnny, he will most likely have to win his next match in order to make playoffs. What do you say about that?
Yeah, it's a little what's the word? A little I can't find that word. It's a little, I guess I'll say sad for now. It's alright. Oh yeah, it's a little disappointing to see Johnny not doing too well. Yeah. Even though 4 and 5, it's not the greatest record, especially with
he's been
Johnny's
kind of stilting a lot.
And he was PMC Season 2's finalist, so last season.
He just hasn't been playing the best way. He's been kind of tilting, unfortunately, and it's sad to see that, because when he's on a good day, he is a fairly solid player.
Yeah. So, I believe is that or
Is that it? Do you have anything else to add?
no, I don't think so.
Alright, so let's move on to our Final Four. And for these Final Four, they're going to shift a lot because the thing is, well, all of these players, they're all head-to-head, so any loss is going to make a couple of the others move above them and such. So at number 4, on our last page, we have the SL Benfica Heracross Knights. Like I said, there wasn't too much to say about this match. Well, at least I don't have too much to say about the match besides that Toxapex. Yeah, Toxapex. So Cloyster was able to kill everything because Toxapex went down early, and Hera was just having an off game. What do you say about that?
You know, like we just mentioned this before, just again, Cloud just capitalizing against Hera, and being the one mon that could deal with the Cloyster well, that isn't exactly the best.
Yeah.
And
you can say?
You know, as you said, with all these 4 teams head to head, a loss would really affect them power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Record wise, not high, but
yeah, because he in fact dropped from 2nd place to 4th place because everyone above him did in fact win very nice matches. In fact, all of them were very enjoyable to watch, I feel. And such. Yeah, that it was just, yeah, Heracross should be able to bring it back in the next week, which will be nice for him. So yeah, I guess we'll just move on to our number 3, with Bird. And at number 3 and number 2, I'd say these two are pretty relatively, they're kind of interchangeable, but the reason why I put the Grimsby Town Grammars above the Tampa Bay Frogadiers is I felt the Grimsby Town Grammars did play slightly better because the only reason why they won 3-0, lost those 3 monsters because he sacked those mons, and he sacked those mons so he could win and such. And I'm not saying that Bird played a bad game because he played extremely solidly, as well did Blue Rogue. And also, the Red Spark Bike Bolts would have been a higher rank last week if I had recorded that a bit later and such. What do you feel about that match?
You know, so well, guys, yeah, we're on number 3. Just making sure. The reason he is number 3 is because the other 2 coaches have been very, very dominant in their wins.
Yeah, like they've had control like mostly the entire match and such.
Yeah.
Although, who won head to head between did these 2 play? The Jamestown Grammars and Bird? I don't remember.
I believe they did, but Bird had to take a
loss
because
of the Blazer King with the Thunder Punch.
Yeah, and that's not allowed because in order for these broken monsters to be allowed, you're not allowed to run bank moves.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for him. So yeah, so because of that, there wasn't really any way to put one above the other from head to head because it was just a really intense match that ended because of that result. Yeah. So I guess, do you have anything to say about the match itself with Bird and Frogadiers?
I just, not much, man. Just Bird played well.
Mm-hmm.
He used capitalizes on Jonah's weaknesses, like Jock itself.
Yep.
And I don't know, Virtus to win that match, and he did.
Yep. So we talked a lot about this match earlier, so I guess we'll just move on to Blue Rogue and at the Grimsby Town Grimers at number 2. And I feel they played extremely well in this match. He played his mons very well with how he was able to just pressure his opponent, so he had control nearly the entire match, and I just thought it was really impressive.
You know, just 100%.
Yeah. The Grimsby Town Grimers just they played very well. They were able to use Defog Dragonite to their advantage, and he made a lot of good predictions with his Raichu, which really helped him. And if he didn't make those predictions, he could have possibly lost, but he made those good predictions, and they just gave him the momentum he needed